Good evening and welcome into a fortuitously timed Power Mizzou live here on Thursday night. I imagine we're going to have a pretty big crowd on hand. Comments, questions, whatever you got, put them in the queue. We will get to them. About 15 minutes. Mizzou commit Georgia State running back transfer Marcus Carroll is going to join the show. Technology, allowing. We never can make too many promises till they happen. The one promise I can make is that Jarod Hamilton is going to join the show because he was already here. There he is on your screen. Jarod, just tell the people we had this scheduled before the events of the last 45 minutes. We just got a little bit lucky, I guess.
I mean, right at the buzzer. That's all I can say. Right at the buzzer. So, I mean, what I told you this. I texted you this yesterday or last night. Like, what a month, and it's not even halfway through yet. We haven't even got to the game. The game almost is the least important thing of this month.
I forgot Missouri was playing football. I mean, the season might as well be. This is a whole different season. This is portal season. Mizzou, Ohio State. We will get to not on this show. We'll do it next week. We'll talk to some Ohio State people. Jarod is going to Dallas on December 26th. We will have all kinds of content from Dallas. But I assume if you're on this show, you know. 4-star running back, top 250 kid, Kawan Lacey from Lancaster, Texas, committed to Missouri. Literally, I was told at 4 o'clock today. We were trying to find a live stream, and I was messaging somebody, and I said, "Hey, do we need to watch this?" He's probably going to Ole Miss. You don't really need to waste your time. And then at 5:44, crystal balls and future casts and everything started coming in for Missouri. Guys, this literally flipped in the last 2 hours. I don't know. I mean, a little bit. I know what happened. Look, NIL exists. I'm sure that's a part of it, right? Let's not pretend it isn't. But we're trying to get a hold of Kawan Lacey tonight. Sean Williams is working on that while we are on the show. I haven't seen momentum like this in 21 years of doing it. So, Jarod, I know you haven't seen momentum like this in 16 months of doing it.
Nah, that's crazy. Like, I remember seeing the text that said, don't worry about it. And then I was writing up I got a couple articles coming for you guys the next couple of days. So I was finishing that up, and then I seen you tweet out that the show was coming out, which I also forgot about. And then I seen that Lacey committed. And I'm like, and I look back at the messages. I'm like, whoa, that was totally unexpected. And right before we got on, before I hopped on, I guess backstage or whatever it is, I was writing transfer portal needs and their rankings, position by took running back from where it was and put that down just a little bit lower than what it needed to be. So, I mean, they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. And hey, we already up to 200 people on here. Do me a favor, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. It really does help. I don't know why, I can't explain it to you, but it does help. More people see it when you guys do those things. So we appreciate it if you do those things. But let's talk about that. Running back was, I don't know if it was the number one need in the portal, but it was definitely up there. So they land Marcus Carroll, who we'll talk to in a few minutes. They get a commitment from Kawan Lacey. Jamarian Burnett visited last weekend. I would expect a decision out of him sometime in the next 6 days. We really like Missouri's chances still. So that takes the room from 2 to 5. Mizzou would not be opposed to another transfer, which would make it 6. Like, this is what the portal is. It's, you can fix a position in a week.
Yeah. I mean, it's big time. And I forgot, maybe it was like a month ago or something like that. But I remember he was on some SEC show and he was telling people, like, we're telling kids now that, we can take you, or we may not be able to take you. And so the benefit of, the success they're having on the field and recruiting is you're starting to get some of those prospects or those transfers that you weren't getting originally. I mean, a little tidbit maybe I don't know if I just wrote this or maybe it's coming in one of the stories. I've been doing a lot, but a couple, when Tyler Beatty had that special season, they got Cody Schrader, they got Nate Pete to follow up after that. And obviously Cody Schrader, I mean, what a find. That props to the coaching staff for finding him and, helping him. But at the same time, he was a walk-on. They did not expect him to be what he was. Now to replace Schrader, you got somebody like Marcus Carroll, who was only a couple spots down in the national, rushing rankings. Look at stuff like that. You weren't getting that before. Now you can just kind of plug and play pieces.
And I mean, they're transfer visitors that are in town right now. Texas A&M, Florida, the Georgia Tech this weekend. That got a Houston kid in, got a commitment from a Clemson kid. Like these are proven Power 5 football players that they're getting. And we've talked a lot. We talked a lot last year about why this season was so huge for Eli Drinkwitz, because for 3 years, like he has recruited at a level that we've never seen before NIL, before any of this. He landed classes that we've never seen at Missouri. And he did it all based on selling hope. And so we said, what would happen if he had something tangible to sell? And now he's got something tangible to sell. He's got 10-2, number 9 in the country, headed to the New Year's 6, and all this momentum. And, again, plenty of NIL support. Like, I think we're starting to find out what if he has something to sell. Like, I think there's a chance this goes to a level above even what it's been.
Absolutely. And something that just while he was talking, that's kind of clicked in my mind is with divisions going away next year in 2024 and Georgia and Alabama playing each other. I mean, just stuff like that. Like, I know it's not, they still have to win the games and stuff like that, but Missouri's schedule at first glance looks pretty favorable. You add that with, some of these other teams playing for each other, and now it's not you have to win the division. You just got to be one of the top 2 spots. I mean, you can really sell that now based off of this year as well. So they've got a lot of things that are just kind of like going in their favor on top of what they're doing already.
Let's talk about that for a couple minutes before Marcus jumps in, and we'll get back to more portal stuff and all that after we talk to him. But schedule reveal last night. I saw an interesting point on Twitter today. You actually might not want to make the SEC championship game now, because if you finish 3rd or 4th in the SEC, you go 10-2, 6-2 in the league, 10-2 overall, you're going to be in the top 12, right? So maybe you just sit at home and let one of those teams lose. Like, it's not the worst. It's harder to make the SEC title game than it is the 12-team playoff. And I know everybody wants to win a conference title, but I'm not sure how important it is. If you're in the SEC, like, you don't have to be in that game to be in the playoff.
Very true. I'm not going to even knock that, but this team, especially for a team, I mean, for a Missouri, saying, you even went to the SEC title game like they did, 9-10 years ago, big thing. So you're definitely trying to go for it. And that's another thing that you can add because, again, I know they're having a great momentum, but they know they're on the come up. They're not necessarily, Alabama, Texas, like, guys with the money or the blue blood reputation or whatever. So you still need to build on this. So SEC championship or in a win, maybe that helps.
Right. Yeah. And you're right. Look, Missouri would not, like, you're not going to go tank a game so you don't play in the SEC.
No. I know you wasn't saying that, but I'm saying.
But there, like, it is legitimately tougher to make that game now than it is the playoffs. So the schedule reveal, I know I heard next year they're going to expand it to 4-hour shows. So just, you got that to look forward to, or just do it like, it's going to be like the NFL draft. It's going to be a 3-night thing, right? Like they'll have the non-conference schedule.
Well, it wasn't as bad. I mean, I probably was done 30 or 40 minutes because they released it and then they spent the rest talking about it. So I was like, that was cool. But this could have been a tweet. I'm not gonna lie to you. They could have tweeted this and it would have been cool. But
no question. Scott Fitz, thanks for the super chat, man. We never asked for it. Always appreciate it. And look, if you want to make sure we see your comments, there's 300 people on here now. You want to make sure you see your comments. Toss a quarter or a buck or whatever on there, and we will see them because they appear in a different color. And Scott brings up a good point. OU game going to be a banger next year. I actually just texted someone the reaction from Oklahoma fans if Missouri fields a team with Theo Weiss, Luther Burden, Williams Winery, Caden Green, I mean, there'll be some juice to that one, and we will talk Caden Green and such a little bit later. But Jarod, I was telling somebody earlier today, look, if you're in the SEC, you know you're playing good teams. You know the schedule. Nobody's going to say your schedule is easy. Other than trading Alabama for like Kentucky, I don't know how Missouri could have a much more favorable 2024 football schedule.
No, it sets up right. If you look at the open weeks, they've got one in between the Alabama and the Oklahoma game. And then where's the other one? It's earlier than that.
It's right before Vandy. It's before week 5.
Oh, it's before Vandy. Oh, yeah, right. So it's before Vandy. So I mean, yeah, Alabama, Oklahoma. When I look at the schedule, I instantly say 10-2, but that's not because like I just me when Chiefs games, I'm a little pessimistic, just a little bit, just so I can save myself. But they can very, very well win 11 and 12 is not off the table to me, but I'll just say 10 or 11 right now.
Because I think most people would look at that schedule and say 10-2 or 11-1. Look, you always account for, a game that you just kind of really don't expect maybe coming up and bite, because most teams lose a game that you don't think they're going to lose going into the season. So, but even if that happens, like I can't see, like the floor on that schedule is 9-3. Maybe 8-4, but and it just comes at a perfect time with you got a returning quarterback, you got all this transfer momentum, you got Luther coming back. I promise they're going to drive a Heisman campaign for him. And guys, before we go any further, we do have our guest is backstage now. We're going to bring recent Mizzou commit Marcus Carroll onto the screen. And Marcus, first off, man, thanks for joining us. Do want to just let you know we're live on YouTube, so like, I don't care what you say, but just know it is going out on YouTube.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
What's going
Not
on,
bad, man. Appreciate you taking some time. And Missouri fans, everybody watching, we got 300 people on here. I know you guys all know who this guy is, but committed to Mizzou just, I guess it was Monday morning after an official visit, transferred from Georgia State. And just first off, Marcus, kind of to everybody watching, I mean, anything you want to say to Mizzou fans and kind of tell them why you picked their school to play your last year at?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just going into my last year, just making that decision as far as what I'm gonna do, going my last year. And I made that, I probably said it earlier, I made that a business decision as far as what program is gonna, what type of culture I want to be around. Of course, I want to win championships, just overall, how the team is and stuff like that. And Coach Luke, I got a great relationship with Coach Luke, man. I mean, guys, man, he's good people, man. I was just with him earlier today. We went to lunch in Spondivic, so we was chatting it up and stuff like that. But yeah, Coach Luke, Coach Drink, and what they're doing with the program Mizzou, man, is unbelievable. And I just couldn't pass up on that opportunity. It's a great opportunity. I went down there, the culture, the guys on the team, we bonded well. The scheme, the outside zone, man. I mean, I fell in love with it. I didn't have to go on no other visits. I knew exactly what I wanted to do for my last year, definitely.
Marcus, I mean, there's been a lot about Cody Schrader. He's been everywhere nationally and stuff like that. How much has Kirby Moore and Coach Looper kind of talked about, you kind of taking over that spot and, being able to do that? Because you yourself was in the top 10 in rushing. So what do you see yourself doing in this offense?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We was talking about the outside zone scheme, and I love it. I'm familiar with the zones that Georgia State did, a little inside zone, a little pin pull that they do in Missouri too here. And then he was just saying I could fit in. I mean, and just show all levels of talents of my game. It's things that probably you haven't seen before. You know what I'm saying? And just be versatile with it. And yeah, so I mean, we had a great conversation at Coach Luke and Coach. So yeah.
Marcus, we want to give fans kind of a chance to get to know your story over the last few years. So tell us out of high school, like, how you ended up at Georgia State, what recruiting was like for you out of high school.
Oh yeah. So, I went to, Hateville Charter. It's a little 2A school here in Georgia. We wasn't when I first got there, I think the program was open for about 7 years. So the football program was new and stuff like that. So, but it was just the culture there at the high school. I mean, man, we was able to make it to the playoffs my last 3 years. We was able to win a state championship my sophomore year, and man, the culture was amazing. And then I probably didn't start receiving offers until I want to say the end of my junior year. I picked up Coastal. Coastal was one of my favorites. Georgia State was obviously in the mid Southern. A lot of Sun Belt schools. Power 5 schools. I want to say Maryland, a little bit of Michigan at the end of it. But Maryland was for sure, USF and stuff. But yeah, and I chose to go to Georgia State simply because it was a chance to do something that has never been done at Georgia State. Like Georgia State was a newer program and it just became FBS, and I just seen the opportunity to do something that, like I said, never been done before. You know, I think when I got there, the most wins we ever had was 8 wins. So, you know, just being a part of something that isn't going to always be remembered in time. Like you look up in the books, you know, you'll see like, oh, this is the team that, you know, that won the first Sun Belt and all that stuff. And I bought into that goal. And Coach Elliott is a great coach, head coach, and Coach McKnight, man. And I loved him and for developing me the way I am now. But yeah, I went to Georgia State though. I really didn't play much my freshman and sophomore year. It was more special teams, but we had some backs. Trey Barnett was believed the leading rusher there, and Destin Coates, Tucker Gregg. I mean, man, it was a loaded backfield, and so I started getting a little bit of play time around my junior year at the end, and I was able to start my towards the end. I guess Southern Miss game had a good game and stuff like that, and then you know, coming to my senior year, you know, the year I just had, I was able to start, and I'm blessed, and coach put me in a great position and stuff like that, and I was grateful for that. And then, you know, basically going into my last year, I just wanted to put myself in a position that, you know, can ultimately be around a program that's going to help me. Well, I can get to next level from anywhere, but just, you know, being around a program that's going to maximize my talents and stuff like that. And obviously be able to compete for a championship and stuff like that. So the big bonuses on there too.
Marcus, when during this, I guess this new recruiting process, who were some of the Tigers that, you know, some of the players on the team that, you know, kind of you got to chat with a little bit and kind of get to know them, and then kind of inform you what Missouri is like and what their, you know, what their plans are?
Yeah, so I got to speak a little bit with Cody a little bit. I was able to come in the meeting room and stuff like that. And I mean, talking to him alone, this is going to tell you a lot about the coach and what he stands for. I mean, Cody's an incredible player, a credible person. And then Relish George, we actually played Relish George, the D lineman, in Hateville. We played him. He played for Pace at the time, so I actually got to play against him my sophomore year. So yeah, he knows a lot of people I know and stuff like that. And just telling me about the team and the culture and the momentum that's just going in as far as, you know, playing with a chip on your shoulder and stuff like that. And man, that's exactly who I want to be around, a culture that's, you know, still hungry, still, you know, trying to be, you know, make history, you know. So yeah.
I want to invite the people watching. If you got questions that you want us to ask Marcus, put them in the comments section, and we'll try to get to some of your questions as well. But Marcus, were you a guy? This whole transfer thing has just kind of happened in the last 2 or 3 years, where it's a free transfer, and different people have all kinds of different opinions on it. But I mean, it exists for a kid like you who has proven himself at one level and maybe wants to take a shot. And this is no offense to the Sun Belt or Georgia State, because it's a hell of a league, but this is a little bit different level. So just what have been your thoughts the last couple of years, being able to see guys kind of take advantage of this and it providing you an opportunity that honestly 5 years ago, if you're in college football, you wouldn't have had?
Yeah, I mean, man, it is crazy. I mean, it's hectic. I mean, you got guys leaving this year and this year, but I mean, it definitely has its pros and cons and stuff like that. And just like you said, playing next level, you know, Sun Belt is a great conference. Sun Belt is a great conference, competitive conference. I mean, every team up and down, man. But when you talk about SEC and, you know, you going against first rounders, like he's a first rounder, he's a first rounder, he's a first rounder. I mean, that's stuff like that's gonna make you better. It's gonna improve your stock, and it's ultimately gonna help the longevity of your career. So, you know.
Marcus, how was your recruitment, I guess, this time around compared to coming out of high school? Besides the teams, obviously, how was it different as far as your mindset, as far as what you wanted to do and what you were looking in, not for just the football team, but school as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, this time around it was definitely a lot. It was still kind of crazy, hectic, but it wasn't as bad because, like you said, mindset of going into my last year. I know what I'm looking for in the team. I done played college ball. I understand college ball. I can do deeper dives on certain programs where would I best fit at and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely a more strategic way going in this way this time around in the transfer portal. So. Whether the first time when I went in, it's kind of like I'm new to this, my family's new to this and stuff like that, But this time around, you definitely know exactly what you're getting into and what you're looking for.
Marcus, I was just looking back at Georgia State's schedules over the last few years, and like you've played at LSU, you've played at North Carolina, South Carolina, Auburn. So some of these places aren't necessarily going to be new to you. I don't know if you really looked at the schedule that Missouri has next year, but is there a place or a school in the SEC that you're really looking forward to that you get that chance next year?
Definitely. I mean, I know it's the 2 away games that's going to be crazy. It's definitely going to be the A&M and the Alabama game. I mean, it's going to be a rocking crowd and stuff like that. And I mean that's what I love about football. That comes with it. Whether you're at home and the crowd's cheering for you away, or you got to tune out the crowd. Silence the crowd sometimes. That's part of college football. That's what it's part of the game. So. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, though.
Kind of a follow-up to that. Any disappointment that look, man, you're a Georgia kid. You grew up in Georgia. It's first time.
That was about to be my question.
Not playing Georgia.
Yeah. I seen it. I was like, oh man, he's not playing Georgia this year, but it's all good. I mean, Alabama, Georgia, whatever you want to. I'll be ready for him, definitely.
Gabe, you stole my last question. I was about to ask the same thing as far as the playing Georgia, but it for me.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to jump in there, but so Marcus, I want to jump through some of the fans are kind of asking. They want to know what do you think your greatest strength as a running back is?
Greatest strength as a running back, I probably would want to say my vision and experience. I try to I really don't really like to say, this was good, this was good, because really, nobody's 100%. So my all around game, I always think I could be that faster. I always think I could, have more agility or more power and stuff like that. Not saying I don't have it, but I can always enhance that areas of my game. But if I had to choose, I probably my vision and experience maybe is probably a little bit more on the higher side, but I can always improve on anything in my game. So
another question, and I know the first part of this, you're arriving on campus in January with 1 year of eligibility left, but what are the next 3 weeks like for you? Like, what all do you have to get done, and do you get to take a break and celebrate Christmas with your family, or what?
Yeah, so these next 3 weeks is basically well, actually I'm finna I already started training a little bit because when I get there, we'll probably be doing conditioning, and they're gonna be hitting the ground running. I need to be right there with them. So I'm doing a lot of training right now. As far as packing and stuff, it's not really as bad. I already got a little plan put in place, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll still have time to spend with my family and stuff like that. I think I report January 12th or the 14th or something like that. So I got about almost a month to change, but I'm ahead of the sticks though.
All right, last thing, we got some people asking, about Columbia places. Did you get to go to any restaurants on your visit or anything? So I know the best part about those visits is the food they give you. So what was the highlight, man? What they feed you?
I mean, the food was amazing, from steaks to crabs to macaroni.
They had them.
Yes, man. But I mean, if I did have to pick one restaurant, it's probably Bud's Barbecue. I think I had a smash burger or something. Oh. Yeah, that was tough. That was a good burger.
Oh, he thinking he know where he coming back to. He know where he's going back
to. Definitely.
Well, Marcus, really appreciate it, man. Taking time out of your schedule. I know you're busy, but Missouri fans really excited about hearing from you, and just curious. I don't know if you saw the news just in the last hour. Missouri went out and got a top 250 freshman running back. Like, you gotta be excited about where that room's going.
Oh yeah, RBU. We've changed the culture, definitely.
All right. Well, Marcus, have a good one, man. We look forward to seeing you in person up here next semester and getting to know you.
All right. Thanks for having me. I'll see y'all soon.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. Have a good one. That is new Mizzou running back Marcus Carroll joining the show. And look, I think, the best thing about having a 22-year-old on a show instead of an 18-year-old, like, let's talk to the media. He's done some interviews, like a really good kid who clearly can speak and all that. And look, I think it's worth saying again, everybody who thinks that the transfer portal is terrible and all that, like, he's getting a chance he's wanted his whole life that he wouldn't have without this.
Absolutely. So it's very cool to see, players who put on at those bigger programs and possibly have that chance to put a little bigger light on their names, because obviously just about every college kid wants to go to the NFL. So to go to a program and do that, and it's definitely probably expected to start. So to be able to kind of make that move, that's cool for every kid who gets to do that. So absolutely.
So Jarod, I know you look. I'm not going to pretend to have watched Georgia State or studied up or anything, but like, I think Marcus is a guy there. Look, he's a graduate student. He's expected to compete for the starting job here. I'm not saying he's going to get 80% of the carries like Cody Schrader did, but this is a smaller school, but they're bringing him in to be running back 1 next year, I think.
For sure. Just another tidbit into the ranking, the transfer portal article that's going to come out in the morning. Basically, I wrote, he's very similar to Cody Schrader, physically and size. What separates them is probably like 5 pounds. I think they're their same height, about 5'9", 5'10". Vision, he does have vision, just like Cody. Inside, outside zone, he does very well. You can't arm tackle him. His center of gravity is very low, so he's bouncing off of guys. If you're not tackling him, in the solar plexus, the torso or whatever, he's gonna bounce off of you. Probably not necessarily like a burner, but he can go. He's got acceleration. If you give him too much room, he can make that move. He can make people miss at times. Also, another similarity, him and Cody Schrader, receiving wise, I think he had 1 more reception for like maybe 15 or 20 less yards than Cody. So they're pretty similar. He's a capable receiver out of the backfield. So he's somebody they expect to kind of, again, take what Cody did and kind of do that. And you can't ask somebody to be a consensus All-American, but considering he was 7th in the nation in rushing, and he's got that experience stuff, you do expect, maybe 80%, 80 to 90% of that, maybe he can bring that next year.
And look, a big part of that is the line he's going to be behind. We'll talk about that in a minute, but he mentioned something, he wanted to go to Georgia State among the offers he had because he wanted to be part of getting something going. Georgia State became an FBS program in 2013. They went 0-12, 1-11, 6-7, 3-9. So they were 10-39 in their first 4 years. Fired head coach Trent Miles. 2017, they go 7-5. Then 2018, 2-10. 2019, 7-6 when Marcus signed. Then 6-4, 8-5, 4-8, 6-6. They've gone to 4 bowl games in the last 5 years. So like, that's a program that, look, he's going to be part of kind of getting that thing going and putting them on the map. And Sun Belt really is a good league. I mean, hell, the head coach that everybody here wants to sign to a lifetime contract and build a statue of right now, he came from the Sun Belt.
Absolutely. So, that's cool. Obviously, positive. I mean, these kids, when you go to the transfer portal, when you go through the transfer portal and you get to go to the school that you want to go to, you're going to be happy. But when you kind of explain, Georgia State and them being relatively new, I mean, you're talking about going from 6-6 and them being over the moon to make a bowl game to now we're talking about he's coming into a situation where he's going to be RB1. They're talking about the playoff, things like that. He can boost his draft stock, all those type of things. So you kind of heard it already. He's already training, and I wouldn't expect nothing different if he was going to another school. But you see, he's already kind of ahead of the program on the time. Basically, he doesn't have to, and he's doing it. So he knows what the opportunity is.
Want to throw this up there, Dustin. Appreciate the super chat. Didn't see your question until after Marcus let go. Luckily, we had asked. It says best restroom in Columbia for eating a meal, and I'm going to assume it meant to be restaurant. But I do appreciate the question. He did answer it. It's barbecue. But appreciate that. So look, you talked about it. Look, the goal for this team next year is the playoffs. There's no question now. That's the goal. And so the next 3 weeks are going to go a long way toward determining how not how likely that is, but how many people are going to pick them to do it in the transfer portal. So we were talking offensive line, and that's going to be the key. Because look, no offense to Cody Schrader, he's a hell of a back, had a great year. I'm sure he would also say the biggest reason he did was the 5 dudes in front of him. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, what's the biggest hole Missouri has to fill on this team, I would have said Javon Foster. Left tackle, All-American, going to be an NFL draft pick, and we don't know who's going there. The potential answer hit the portal this afternoon. And I have to say potential because this is not, from anything I've heard, a done deal. Caden Green signed with Oklahoma last December. Out of Lee Summit North, took an official visit to Missouri in the summer. Missouri really made a push, but Caden ended up signing with Oklahoma, played 568 snaps at left guard, did not give up a sack, gave up, I think, 12 pressures and 1 quarterback hit all year. He's a monstrous human being, number 61 player in the class last year. Shocked the world by saying he was going into the portal. I think it was on Monday afternoon, might have been Tuesday. Officially in the portal about 5 o'clock this evening. I don't know what your transfer rankings or positions of need or anything were before that happened, but he at the top of it now.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got to replace that left side basically. Delgado, he's run out of eligibility and he definitely stepped it up this year. That's how that inside zone and some of that outside zone stuff was working because he definitely stepped up. Tolson stepped up. So from center to the right side, they're pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you can get a Caden Green on there. And think about this. Think about this. So you got Mimbo at right tackle. You put Green, guard, left tackle, whatever they're going to do. And then you bring in Williams Winery. So, look at that, that little Lee Summit North, contingent in the trenches that you got there. I mean, and we're talking about some physically imposing dudes, some big dudes in there. That's good. I mean, that's great. And for this offense to continue to do what it needs to do, the line has to be solid. Without that, Brady Cook can't have the year, Luther can't have the year, Schrader, and I guess now Carroll and Roberts, Lacey, whatever, they can't have a great year. So they definitely got to get that O-line situated.
Yeah, and Connor says, would you agree the left side of the offensive line, the interior, the defensive line are the 2 most important positions? Defensive tackle, the other thing at the top of the list, you think?
Yeah. I'm
not going to got running back and corner mostly.
Yeah. Y'all trying to expose my story before it come out. But yeah, defensive tackle definitely wouldn't hurt to get another end in there maybe. Although Williams coming in there.
I think they're chasing. I think they're definitely chasing.
Yeah, but I'm saying as far as like defensive end, if I don't know, I guess the world wouldn't completely end if they didn't get it. But they probably need an end. Definitely need a couple of defensive tackles. That would be at the pretty high up on the list.
Need a linebacker. Because, look, a lot of guys have left, are leaving, whatever. And I think Chuck Hicks and Tristan Newsom are capable starters, but you need more than that.
Yeah, you need a third guy that you can, either rotate with them. And I'm saying that at worst. If you can find somebody and those guys played well, if you can find somebody who can replace either one of those and have one of them be the third guy, I mean, that works too.
Yeah, and they got a kid, Corey Flagg from Miami. I forget if he's one of the guys that the visit starts today or if it starts Saturday. Every day in my life right now runs together, and I don't know. He's either here now or he's going to be here on Saturday. But he's a linebacker from Miami. Blake Baker coached and recruited him. There's another kid in the portal, DJ Lundy from Florida State, just hit the portal today. And I checked with somebody, and I think Missouri will take a look. But Flagg's here. If they can get Flagg, I think that's your guy because they've been on him since he entered the portal day one, really. But linebacker, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, pass rusher. Cornerback's interesting because they already got Toriano Pride. You've got Drayden Norwood coming back. You know you got Marcus Clark coming back. You got some young guys. They could add another corner,
Right.
but I don't know that they need to.
Yeah. We do, as I expect KD and Ennis to declare for the draft. They've already, they've already accepted their invites to the Senior Bowl. If for whatever reason one of them decides to stay, we don't know. But if they do, you don't need to go in the portal, to be honest. But if both of them leave, yeah, you could grab one. I'd say it wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world if they didn't, though. Like, you could be okay with having Pride, but I'd probably take another one. Just, you don't know what you can find.
Yeah, you got to get this comment up. Jarod is giving your barber 5 stars. Your haircut has received many compliments tonight.
Thank
Mine
you.
has received none, which is shocking, But
Appreciate it.
So let me see. There was a question I meant to get here. Okay, Zoo Time is asking if Mevis is declaring. We fully expect Harrison Mevis is gone. Like, he talked toward the end of the season.
Yeah,
Like
he seemed like he knew it was about time to go, and I think he should. He bounced back because in the middle of the season I was like, not even if his season kept being inconsistent, he's still an NFL kicker regardless of that to me. But like, I just feel like his stock, he kind of rebounded it and finished the season out pretty strong. So yeah, I think he's gone.
So let's talk about the rest of the guys. Look, Tyron Hopper, no expectation he's coming back.
Right.
Ennis Rakestraw, I don't really think there's any expectation he's coming back.
All right.
Chris Abrams-Drain, most people think is going to go. I would put him as more likely to come back as than Ennis, but still not something that you can really count on.
Correct.
So I think the guys that are in limbo here are Theo Weiss, Joseph Charleston,
Christian Williams,
who we fully expect back.
But we don't
actually
know.
publicly said it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'm kind of counting him in the definitely going to be back category. Oh, JC Carlisle is another guy. Like, I've checked, nobody expects him to come back. So you're looking at Weiss, you're looking at Charleston, and then you're looking at the surprise thing. Like, does Mookie Cooper want to spend his last year somewhere he can catch the ball a little bit more? I'm not saying that happens. I'm just throwing that out there as an example of, look, a week ago, nobody at Oklahoma would have said Caden Green's entering the portal, right? This stuff's wild. Exactly. Weird stuff can happen.
Right. So, but I mean, they're in really good shape. And you see the transfer portal, when you do well, you see how, like, when your team does well during the season, you go 10-2. I mean, I wrote this same article a year ago. I had nine things, and now not everything is obviously at the top, but now I got like 4 or 5 things where I'm like, you just need this here, you need this there, and you're good.
Who are we thinking replaces Xavier Delgado at left guard? I don't think they'll go. Well, they could go portal for left guard. They got a kid in town from Texas A&M right now named Remington Strickland, who is an interior lineman, 6'4", 300, I think, played left guard and center a little bit for A&M. So they could bring him in. I don't think that's necessarily an automatic plug-and-play starter. Tristan Wilson's a guy whose name we've heard some. Logan Reichert is a guy who I think you would expect to be on the field in the next year or two.
You'd hope so. I mean, he was one of the.
I mean, next year, hopefully. But if you bring in a transfer, if you've got this really deep team that's chasing the playoff, maybe that pushes that back 1 year.
Right. Caden Green. Now, you said it earlier. Most of his snaps came at left guard, actually. So
I think he wants to be a tackle and is a tackle if he comes here.
Oh.
I'm fairly confident in that.
Gabe, you're the mastermind. you know. Okay, yeah.
But so given those options, I mean, I guess I'd lean toward Tristan Wilson or a transfer right now.
I'm going portal. Yep. I mean, just because when you think portal and we think portal, how we think free agency, and when you think that, you think this guy can help this team go just this much closer to where we want to be. There, if this is the playoff and they're right here, you think, all right, I plug and play with those players. Now, obviously, if somebody has a phenomenal spring, you give them that chance. But right now, I'm thinking, get these guys in now.
And this offseason, to me, is the comparison I've made. And look, there are plenty of comparisons you can make. I make the ones I know. So the comparison I've made is in 2015, the Royals went out and sold everything for Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist because they were saying, this is our shot. We're going to go take our shot at this. This is Missouri's shot. I'm not saying they can't get back there. I'm not saying they can't maintain this. But this year, you look at the schedule, you look at the quarterback coming back, you look at Luther Burden, you look at Christian Williams returning, you look at what they've got. This is a year that you can go chase this thing. You do. So if that means in a normal year, you might say, yeah, Tristan Wilson, Logan Riker, we'll throw you out there and let you compete for the job. Well, maybe if you can get a guy that's a little more experienced, this is the year you say, we're just going to do it, man. We got to chase it now, because the truth is, even in a 12-team playoff, like, there is no guarantee these opportunities come around that often.
Absolutely. And taking a guy now, even if to be honest, it's not really a lose-lose to the situation. I mean, there is a small thing, maybe a guy like Riker. I'm not saying now, I'm just saying, like, he already developed this year. If he misses out on, playing next year, to transfer portal and all that stuff. But let's say you bring in some guy, you bring in another guard or whatever. They go compete in spring ball and stuff like that. And Riker he beats him out. Now you've got that, and you've got, a veteran presence behind him. I mean, you want the best talent on the team. So if you can fill the roster full of that, then there you go.
All right, guys, this is the kind of stuff you're only going to get here on our live show. I got a buddy who does some NFL draft stuff. Just sent me this text. He has no idea I'm reading this text on the show, but I don't care. I won't say his name. I hate highlight tapes, but this Lacy kid looks like Alvin effing Kamara. That's the text I just got from a guy that covers the NFL draft for a living. So,
before we got on,
I haven't watched it. I don't know.
Oh man, I was watching this huddle, and even I was just like, oh, his first play is like he's taking the ball up the gut. He looks like he's getting stopped immediately at the line. He breaks like 3 or 4 guys, spins off, goes around. Same thing happens again, and then he breaks it for like another 30 yards. I noticed Missouri's going for that bigger back type of thing. So Roberts, what is he, 5'10", 5'11", 200. Lacy's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's really quick. He has good vision. He can not only can he shed tacklers, and you're not going to get him with arm string, or shoelace tackles, arm tackles, all that. He's got moves. Like in open space, he's got moves. So they're getting if he pans out like his highlight tape, I mean that's a great weapon.
Yeah. Big Tiki says bring Toriano Pride on for a guest. I gave it a shot last night, guys. I texted both Marcus and Toriano. Marcus said he could do it. Didn't hear back from Toriano. We'll take a shot. See if we can get him next week. I don't think Toriano's done any interviews other than one he did with his high school coach. So we'll take a shot, but no promises. A lot of these guys just want to get somewhere and play ball, and they maybe don't want to do this. So let's see. Okay, Timmy Walters, appreciate the super chat here. All the Mizzou momentum is exciting, but I'm starting to become attracted to my wife's father. Jarod, any thoughts? I mean, look, I said if you put a super chat, we'll put it on the screen. So we put it on the screen.
Oh man. Timmy, thanks for the 6. I don't know, man. You got to get
that. That just seemed like an effort to get on the show.
Maybe. Although there was a lot of other things to get on. That gave me a laugh, though. I appreciate that one.
Yeah, this is a judgment-free zone, Timmy. All Mizzou fans are real happy right now, so you're good. Greg Palermo's wanting to know Jamal Roberts' status. Look, I don't think, like, I understand the downside of the portal is immediately people start saying, well, what about these guys? Are they going to stick around? Jamal Roberts does not strike me. And again, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
True freshman. Seemed like he was a guy I noticed in some of those locker room videos, always seemed super happy. His mom's super supportive on Twitter. He knew that, like, Missouri is going after portal running backs. backs. And this is also part of the deal. Like, when you're at Alabama and they recruit you, you know they're going to recruit a guy just as good to come take your job next year. And then another guy after that. That is what elite programs do. And Missouri's not there, but that's what they want to be. Like, you can't just say, well, we got a running back, we're good. No, you add 3 more because one of them's going to get hurt. One of them's going to be a bust. One of them's going to transfer. And you still got a guy. Now, look, Tavoris Jones, let's be honest, man. He's been here 2 years. He has 7 carries. He fell behind Roberts last year.
Right.
So, I would put that far more likely than I would Jamal Roberts transfer.
On top of that, Roberts knew that they had 2 senior backs that were going to be ahead of him this year. He also knew that they were in their final years. So if I'm Roberts and I see that, I would have, okay, I like Missouri. It's close to home. You got these 2 backs. I can learn from them. And think how much he probably learned from Cody Schrader this year. I can learn from them, be on a winning team, and then they're both going to leave. At the very least, he's going to be in contention for RB2. I mean, I think he is RB2 right now, but you know what I'm saying. So I think he will. I can't see him leaving.
Somebody brought up a good point, and I'm trying to find it now. I can't find it, but somebody asked where the JUCO offensive tackle fits in. Like, honestly, the portal's been so wild. I forgot Missouri got a commitment from that kid. So, hey, if Caden Green goes somewhere else, maybe that kid slides in at left tackle. Right?
Yeah. Gabe, I'm just like you. You tell me stuff about like visits and portal stuff, and then I'm also trying to write stuff because, guys, remember the Cotton Bowl is in 2 weeks. If anybody cares about it, so I'm trying to juggle both. So yeah, I forgot about that already. So
I mean, that's where we're at. I truly forgot that 2 weeks ago they got a big time commitment from an offensive tackle. So I mean, it is every day, guys, is just like you wake up and it goes. The stuff about this portal, I mean, it changes, and it's starting to happen with high school recruiting too. It changes literally in an hour. Again, I posted on our board last night. A South Carolina source told me last night South Carolina was out on Kyle Kennard, the defensive end from Georgia Tech. At noon today, the very same source told me, no, they're back in, and I think they might get it. I mean, that's what happens in this stuff. I did check with the Missouri source shortly before this show started. They are still expecting Kyle Kennard to visit. So to their knowledge, he is not committed to South Carolina and shut things down. So that's where we're at right now. But again, that might not be true. By the time I sit down to write the chamber in 12 hours, this all might be different. Look, at 4:00 today, I thought Kawan Lacey was going to Ole Miss, and then at 6:00 he was coming to Missouri. I got that future cast in under the wire though, so I helped the percentage. So that's the important part.
Boy, y'all been cracking me up on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. T-Ry's throwing in some money for me to get a haircut. It's not that I can't afford a haircut. It's that there's not that much up there to cut. There's only so much you can do with this, man. But I appreciate it. I don't know, man. Is there anything we haven't hit? We're talking about Cam Teague texted me earlier this week, said he thinks Ohio State going to look like Ohio State in this bowl game, except for quarterback. We don't know who playing quarterback. But.
Yeah, okay. So that's the other article I had for you guys coming out on Saturday. Not too extensive yet, just specifically because we haven't talked to nobody. We haven't been to no practices yet. But just a quick look at Ohio State for anybody living under a rock, I guess. Just some quick hitters. Yeah, so besides McCord, Julian Fleming, and Chip Trayanum.
Chip Trayanum. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Yeah.
Okay, so besides those three, they're going to have – it seems like they're going to have everybody. I mean, it's 2 weeks out. Teams are preparing to practice and stuff. Marvin Harrison still hasn't opted out. Neither has a Mecca or anybody really on defense that's, a valuable piece. So this isn't going to be the little toss-up that everybody thought. So when the line started changing, I hope y'all got them, you got your lines early, I guess, when it first started, when it was like +7 or something crazy when it first
Here's the pro move out there are the guys that took Mizzou +6.5 and then took Ohio State +2. You can get both of those, and you can get, Missouri wins the game by a point or Ohio State wins the game by 3 points. It's going to be Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome, but there's still time. As we just talked about, like, yeah. So T-Rod says
Harrison. I can't understand why Marvin Harrison would play this game.
I can't either, but
even if he gets hurt, he's a first-round pick, right?
Yeah, he's still a top 10 pick.
Scenario, he tears his ACL, they're still picking him.
He's very much he would be the Jameson Williams of this year. So yeah, but he probably, I feel like there's still enough time for him to pull out for sure, but I don't know. I mean,
here's what I'm going to do for the Cotton Bowl, because I'm going to be here watching it. I'm going to get a recording of Gus Johnson saying Maserati Marv, and I'm going to mute the game, and I'm just going to play that over and over.
That's an awesome nickname. That is an awesome. I remember when I first heard that tweeting or texting my friends, like, yo, I love that. Maserati Marv.
It's a great nickname, but it was extremely overused. I mean, Gus said it 27 times in one game. I do appreciate Nathan donating to the Gabe Camera Fund, and I do have another camera. I didn't like it, so I got to get a new one here in the off season. But like, I don't have time, man. I just sit in front of my computer and look at transfer portal rumors all day, so I can't go shopping right now.
Exactly. That's our December.
Yeah. Dan McCullough is asking about Courtney Crutchfield. He's going to announce the decision on Tuesday. He is visiting Missouri this weekend. We will have some insight on him in the chamber, but it will be Mizzou or Arkansas. He will announce it on Tuesday. We feel pretty good about Missouri's chances, but we'll see how it goes. I feel like this is a good place to finish. Aiden White says Maserati Marv or Lambo Luther. I want Gus Johnson calling the Cotton Bowl now, so he could call him Lamborghini Luther.
Oh, Lamborghini. Now you just cut it short with Lambo. Just cut it short. Lambo Luther. Has somebody said that before? Aiden, did you just come up with that? I
don't think so.
That's a decent name. I like that.
You can coin him. You can steal it from Aiden. I bet Aiden would give you permission to steal it for your Cotton Bowl coverage.
Now here's the thing. I put that in one of the articles, and someone says, "Who's Lambo Luther?" I'm not gonna have fun in the articles no more.
No. So, in that case, you can just say Aiden told me to say it, man. Just blame him. Oh, apparently it's been on Twitter. So.
Boo.
Everything's been on Twitter, man.
Right.
So, look, guys, it truly appreciate it. Had 350 people hanging out. Want to once again thank Marcus Carroll, because, like, a lot of guys wouldn't take the time and wouldn't do that with us. So appreciate him joining us. Glad you guys got to hear from him. I don't know, 12 more guys have probably hit the portal. Missouri probably has 5 commitments just in the 55 minutes we've been doing this show. So we're going to go back and check out what's going on. Before you log off, like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, share that. Leave a nice comment, a good review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to it. Jarod, another day, man. I don't know what day it is, but we're working again tomorrow. I know that much.
I'm looking at the day. I'm looking in the corner to see what day it is. I still don't know what day of the week it is. I just see the 14th.
It is Thursday night. So.
Okay, football's on.
All right. There we go. As I texted a friend right before this show started, and I want it well known, I'm not a guy that proudly quotes John Rothstein often, but we sleep in May. That's what he said. We'll do that. We'll talk to you guys next time.